There's a new free tool for video comments and video emails. Google is beta testing a formative assessment tool, and Microsoft continues to improve their free tool reading progress. Welcome into episode 2 of the EdTech News Brief. I'm your host, Jake Miller. This is the show where, as the title says, I tell you about EdTech news and I keep it brief. And by brief, I mean clear, concise, and just what you need to know. Nothing more, nothing less. This is episode 2. It's April 14th, and I've got 3 bits of news to share with you today. So let's get started. Screencast-O-Matic recently announced a new Chrome extension called ScreenPal, and it may just be a perfect addition to your EdTech toolbox. It is free, it lets you record your screen or your webcam or both for up to 5 minutes, and it lets you do it from just about anywhere on the web. You might be thinking, Jake, that sounds kind of like regular Screencast-O-Matic, or for that matter, Screencastify or Loom. What's different, though, is that it's built to work in comment boxes and text boxes. In those boxes, you'll see a tiny ScreenPal button. Grammarly users will be reminded of the Grammarly button. Anyhow, you click the button, select screen, webcam, or both, and then press record. Then you could preview the video and trim or crop it, and finally insert that recording into the text box or comment box that you were in. I can't believe that you can actually crop the video, like actually cut the edges off the video and things like that in this simple little tool. Want to give student feedback? Click the extension and pop it right into that comment box in Google Docs or Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams or whatever LMS you're using. Now, it won't work in your Google Doc or Google Slides, for example, but it'll work in the comments within those platforms. I should also point out that this is a Google Chrome extension, as I said earlier, so this is not going to work in Microsoft Edge or any of those other platforms, but for those of you using Google Chrome, it's going to work there in just about every text box and comment box that you could find. It also works in tweets. It works in most of the email providers like Gmail, so that you can explain with video when you don't feel like typing or feel like video is just a better way to explain something. You can also access all of your recordings, which means you could reuse them later if needed. So if you give a student some feedback on a certain error that they're making and you find that a lot of students are making that error, you could just copy that link to that video and keep pasting it in for multiple comments for multiple students to receive. The only issue that I see so far in my trials with this is that if you have both Mote and ScreenPal running, the buttons are on top of each other in some platforms. So I'm going to send them that feedback. I'm sure they'll follow up on that and try to fix it. Otherwise, this looks like a great tool. And by the way, elephant in the room, this tool is really similar to Mote, as I just mentioned. The main difference, of course, is one's audio and one's video. But as I always say, there's not one right tool for every person. Worse yet, for every situation. You might find that you like using Mote for audio in some situations and ScreenPal for video in other situations, or you might find that you like one or the other. It doesn't matter. It's nice that we have these options. This one is definitely worth checking out. By the way, if you have Screencast-O-Matic Premium, you'll also be able to edit those ScreenPal videos later within the Screencast-O-Matic site. Speaking of which, stay tuned to the end of the show announcements about the survey and contest. Hint, hint. I should note, since the videos are stored on their server, you'll also want to look into how that fits with your privacy and data regulations in your school. Not saying it's not going to be okay, just saying keep that in mind and check up on that. Want to record your lessons? Want to have students create stop-motion animations or other videos? Want to teach from a document camera instead of a dry erase board? Today's sponsor, Okio Labs, is focused on facilitating moments between educators and students that dramatically improve the educational landscape. The Okio Cam is the perfect document camera for you to boost student engagement and creativity within your classroom. Its compact and lightweight design makes it portable and perfect to use for hybrid, in-person, or remote learning. The Okio Cam comes in 3 different models, with each tailored to fit every need that you or your students have. Gone are the days of hectic and difficult document cameras. The Okio Cam is an easy-to-use, plug-and-play document camera that is compatible with Windows, Chromebooks, and Macs. The Okio Cam has free downloadable software that pairs perfectly with the Okio Cam for creative, student-led projects. Revolutionize your teaching today by purchasing an Okio Cam at the link in the show notes. Back in March, Google announced a Google Classroom feature called Practice Sets. Before I get too deep into this one, I do want to point out it'll only be in the Teaching and Learning Upgrade or the Google Workspace for Education Plus. So it's part of the paid plans. It's still in beta at this point, but I think that it's something that if you do have access to it when it comes out, you'll probably use. It's a tool that combines formative assessment and automated feedback right inside Google Classroom. The teacher starts by adding or typing up a question or a set of questions, and then Practice Sets AI jumps right into gear, scanning the question using that AI, tagging the content and skill, and preparing automated chatbot style hints and resources. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit skeptical of this part. I mean, haven't we all had that time when we go to that website where we really need help with a return or a defective thing or something or another, and that chatbot pops up and tries to help us, and we type in what we need, and it tries to propose some articles, and they really aren't relevant. And we're like, listen, I know AI is impressive, but I just want to talk to a person in this situation. So I'm a little bit nervous about how that chatbot aspect of this will work, but that's why it's in beta, though they will probably work out the kinks. So we'll see what we think of this when it really comes out, but it looks pretty sweet. Anyhow, it will have multiple choice. It'll have short answer and an extended response. At least that's the way it looks in the promotion for it. And it will provide a math keyboard as well. Plus, students can not only respond with text, but they can also use a drawing tool. And check this out, math teachers. If the kids show their work with that drawing tool, you'll be able to see that too. And most importantly, you don't have to look at every student's work because the tool auto-grades for you right inside Google Classroom, and your students will see right away if they were correct. These built-in hints and resources that I mentioned earlier pop up automatically for students if they get the wrong answer, or if kids are just stuck, they can click a button to see them right there, maybe click on a resource, or maybe watch a video, or look at a step-by-step card that pops up to help them see what help they need maybe to get through the process and to persevere without needing your support. And then on the back end, the teachers get good data, they get a view of what students did, and they get automated insights about maybe certain questions that the whole class struggled with and things like that. Again, it's still in beta and it's part of the paid plans, but Practice Sets from Google looks like it's going to have lots of potential when it comes out. Microsoft has added a set of features to its Reading Progress tool. For those of you who haven't heard of it, Reading Progress was originally launched back in July of 2021. It is, as their site says, a free tool to help teachers improve the process of creating, collecting, and reviewing reading assignments with powerful data and insights. What it reminds me of is about 10 years ago, I was a part of a big RTI, or response to intervention, push at my old school. Yeah, it was probably partially because my wife was a school psychologist there and she was in charge of the RTI program. But anyhow, I digress. This is a tool that I really wish we had at that time. We were doing lots of reading fluency and comprehension assessments and then putting interventions in place to support students. And Reading Progress is a tool that seems to digitize a lot of that process. Anyhow, that's not news. Reading Progress has been around since July. It might be news to you, but that's not the news. The new news is that they have now added some features. The first, to quote the announcement, is actionable insights to help educators quickly generate assignments based on the words that students struggled with the most. So the student goes through the reading passage you've assigned to them. They record themselves responding. The tool identifies the error they make, the errors they make. The tool gathers up that data for you. And then the tool also identifies what students need to work on. So you don't have to put in that legwork to create those practice assignments. Reading Progress does that for you. Now, teachers can also return assignments for revision to students, and so students can see their fully marked up passages and then learn from their mistakes. So it goes through and assesses everything, and you go through and check everything, and then you could send it back to the students and say, hey, here are your errors. I'd like you to try to do this assignment again, and then they could turn it back in and see if they have improved. Also, back in November, they added a return to student feature, which is a little bit different from the revision thing that I was just talking about. In this one, it allows educators to send a report back to students. So it's not a revision, it's a report on how the student did. So you send it back to the student about their fluency passage performance. And now Microsoft has added some additional options for the teacher, letting them fully customize that report so the students receive the information that you think is best for each of them. Do you want them to see their correct words per minute, or their accuracy rate, or their mispronunciations? There are 10 different pieces of data that can be included, and you can pick which ones your learner sees. They've also, a lot of additions to the tool, they've also added the ability to pick a page from a OneNote class notebook. So if you're using OneNote for your class notebooks, you could have a reading passage in there that you then assign through reading progress. So that the passages that they do for practice and for measuring their progress can come straight out of that OneNote class notebook. Before this, you could use a ReadWorks passage, you could use from a Teams file, you can get a passage from a OneDrive file, or you could just upload it from your computer, but now you can also grab a passage right from a OneNote class notebook. Finally, last update to reading progress for today. Part of reading progress is students recording videos of themselves reading the passages. Previously, they could do that on desktop and web versions, and I assume Windows devices, but now they've added the ability to do this on the iOS and Android apps as well. So pretty much whatever device your student is on, they can record videos of themselves within the Reading Progress app and submit it for reading progress checking. So according to the survey results from those of you who listened to episode 1 and filled out the survey, most of you like the idea of this being a weekly podcast. Now, I had planned on it being a Tuesday and Thursday podcast, but a lot of people voted for a weekly podcast in that survey, so I will probably transition to every Wednesday starting next week. Just wanted to give you that peek in the next week so you know what's coming. But I'm going to wait to see some more survey results. First, though, law of large numbers, the bigger the numbers get, the more people that respond to the survey, the more accurate the data gets. So speaking of which, if you have not shared your opinion in the survey yet, I would love to hear your perspective. And more importantly, you would love to have a chance to win some of these amazing prizes that are available through it. So let's talk about those really quickly. So we have got one person who fills out this survey winning Edpuzzle swag. 5 people will win Flipgrid swag. 5 people will win a GIF or a GIF sticker. 5 people will win a copy of The Interactive Class by Joe and Kristen Merrill. 3 people will win a membership for Classroom Q. 1 person will win a Screencastify Unlimited pack. 1 person will win a signed copy of the Microsoft Teams Playbook by Jenny Long and Sally Clark. 1 person will win a signed copy of my book, Educational Duct Tape and EdTech Integration Mindset. 1 person will win a free year of Premiere from Screencast-O-Matic, which if you don't know what Screencast-O-Matic can do in the Premiere version, you're missing out. Green screen and editing and stock video and all kinds of cool stuff. Anyhow, 1 person will win a year of GimKit Pro. 1 person will win a school subscription to WeVideo for the rest of this current school year. 2 people will win OkioCam T 2-in-1 document camera webcams. 2 people will win 1 year of Moat Unlimited. 1 other person will win a year of Moat Unlimited along with a blue snowball mic. 1 person will win a Book Creator annual license to their 1,000 book plan. 1 person will win a year of Pear Deck Premium. Yet another person will win enrollment in all of the paid courses at the Ditch That Textbook Teachable site. And finally, 1 person will win an all-access PD pass from Casey Bell's Shake Up Learning site. That is a lot of awesome prizes. Thank you so much to all of those companies and people who shared those and offered those up to promote the launch of this podcast. I really appreciate it. I hope that you will go fill out the survey and then enter to win the prizes so that you have a chance. There's a lot of prizes there, so the odds are pretty good that you win them, and a lot of them are really good. To enter, just go to jakemiller.net/contest survey. That's jakemiller.net/contest survey. Once you get there, you'll see a survey about the show. Please fill it out to help inform what I do with this show. I really do value your opinion on this. At the end of the survey, there will then be a link for you to click to jump over to a separate form where you will fill out the prize entry and give me your name and address and stuff like that. The first part is anonymous, so it's a good survey. And then the second part is when you're putting in your name and your email address and things like that so that I can contact you if you won one of those prizes. So 1 entry per person, no matter how many times you listen to an episode, no matter how many episodes you listen to, no matter how many email addresses you have, just 1 entry per person. And each person will be eligible to win 1 time. Once you win something, your name will be taken out of the metaphorical hat so we can make sure we spread the love of the prize winning around. You can enter until the end of April, and I'll select winners during that first week of May after April wraps up. Again, go to jakemiller.net/contest survey. Fill out the survey, then click the link at the end and fill out the prize entry. Again, 2 separate Google Forms, an anonymous one to give me your honest feedback, and then one with your name so that you can potentially win the prizes. Thank you, by the way, to those of you who shared about the show on social media, and for those of you who have already reviewed the show in Apple Podcasts. That's so generous of you. I really appreciate it. I'd love it if you tell every educator you know, listen to episode 2 so that you can enter to win. And then, if you have time, head over and post a review for the show. And finally, the way that I'll cap off every episode is with a dad joke. Shout out again to Jen Giffen and Kim Polishuk, who start their Shooks and Gif episodes with a dad joke. I hope they don't mind me following their footsteps by ending episodes of the EdTech News Brief with dad jokes. Here's today. Did you hear that I'm reading a book about anti-gravity? It's impossible to put down. Get it? Put down? You can't put it down because it's anti-gravity. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I will most likely be back next Wednesday, and I really hope that you will be back too. I'd really appreciate it if you rate, review, and share this episode, and I'll see you soon.